Donald Trump's Department of Justice has been busted spying on lawmakers from both political parties who were given access to the unredacted Epstein files, which are contained in a special facility controlled by the Department of Justice. When the Department of Justice gave these lawmakers access to the Epstein files, they were spying on the search history that was being used by these lawmakers to search through the Epstein files, the unredacted files. These unredacted files are what should have been produced and still should be produced in connection with compliance of the Epstein Transparency Act. Instead, the Trump regime produced redacted files, which also unlawfully unredacted or outed identities, photographs, and other personal identifying information of victims and survivors. So how was it uncovered that the Trump regime was spying on these lawmakers from the House of Representatives that took this trip to the special facility? Well, when Pam Bondi was testifying before the House Judiciary Committee, she had a burn book where she had opposition research on all of the members of Congress asking her questions so she could attack them. She was photographed by photographers and other reporters, and this burn book could be seen. And when she was questioning, for example, Congresswoman Jayapal, Democratic Congresswoman from Washington in the Seattle area, she had a piece of paper that said, this is the search history of Congresswoman Jayapal when she was given access to the unredacted Epstein files. So the MeidasTouch network caught up with lawmakers from both parties. We even caught up with Nancy Mace. I'll show you in a little bit. But as you know, our Washington, D.C. bureau has a strong presence on Capitol Hill. And Pablo Manríquez, who runs our DC bureau, he's been doing an incredible job. And by the way, thanks to all of you for growing this platform, we've been able to build out this DC bureau that's now got hundreds of millions of views, approaching billions of views already in about a month since we launched our DC bureau. But Manríquez was able to speak with lawmakers on Capitol Hill and ask them about the Trump regime's spying on lawmakers. So here's what Congresswoman AOC told our Pablo Manríquez. Let's play this clip.
What did you make of the DOJ evidently tracking the search histories of your colleagues as you search for the Epstein files?
Deeply disturbing that Pam Bondi had and they had preserved, essentially, as you mentioned, search histories of sitting members of Congress on the Epstein files. They were looking at what members of Congress were looking at, and they were using that, importantly, as ammunition against them, their own search histories against them in a hearing by Pam Bondi.
Here's what Congressman Raskin had to say. Let's play it.
DOJ monitoring the...
Wait.
What did you make of
Okay.
DOJ's monitoring the search histories of the unredacted Epstein files?
It is a violation of the separation of powers for them to essentially be monitoring our computer searches on the Epstein file. So I think it's outrageous that they would do that, and it's Orwellian, and we're going to have some more to say about it soon.
Do you know if Congresswoman Jayapal was the only person?
We have reason to believe that it was happening to everybody who went over there, that they were monitoring everybody's computer searches.
What gives you reason to believe that?
We'll be having more to say about this later.
Here's more from Congresswoman AOC about Bondi's testimony. I think this is so spot on. Play this clip.
I think that we all saw today the performance that she had. She was screaming, thrashing, and I think it is because she knows that she is implicated in a massive cover-up to protect a powerful ring of pedophiles through the redactions of the names of perpetrators, the holding of 3 million files, the moving of the unexplained moving of Ghislaine Maxwell into a new cushy facility. All of these things are what she personally oversaw, and that's before even digging into whatever questions may arise from her history in Florida. And I think that her thrashing and her very erratic performance today pointed to the fact that there are real questions that point to the DOJ under her leadership, and her leadership specifically, as well as her role in all of this.
And of course, we learned about the spying through the photographs that were taken of Bondi during the testimony of Congresswoman Jayapal, when Jayapal was asking Bondi the questions and Bondi was testifying. Here's what Congresswoman Jayapal had to say. Let's play this clip.
What did you make of the DOJ apparently monitoring search histories as
It is so outrageous. I think we just put out a tweet on it. I mean, I found out about it because a reporter called me and wanted to know about the emails that I had searched. And I was like, how did you know what emails I searched? I mean, there is a separation of powers for a reason. This is spying. This is the DOJ spying on members of Congress and what we search. So we are putting together a letter with Ranking Member Raskin and others on the committee to say, we need a full accounting of what you searched for, what you're using it for, and you need to stop that. We need a new process that assures us that you are not spying on members of Congress.
And here's what Congresswoman Teresa Leger Fernandez had to say. Let's play it.
Spying on the search terms.
Oh, this is horrible. When I went in there, that's the first thing I thought as I started doing my searches. They are going to be recording this. And this is exactly why this whole process is flawed and a sham. One, how do they expect us to be able to go and investigate them when we're given, when we're given limited time to review the files? They should be doing an investigation. They should be doing a thorough review and going after all of the people in those files that they're named. Right, there are names there that they haven't investigated. It's their job. They're the Department of Justice. They should be doing that. And it is an outrage that they are spying on Congress.
Yeah, you were there today, correct?
Yes, I was there today.
And anything stand out in terms of what you actually saw? That was redacted and perhaps shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it's clear that the redactions are haphazard. That they are redacting information that would be useful for somebody doing a true investigation to understand what the links are. I was very concerned about what had happened in New Mexico because we have the Soto Ranch there. And so, that's what I wanted to look for. And the way they've organized it, the way they have the search engines makes it very difficult for us to see what happened. But just the search I did, they should be out investigating what they were doing in Soto Ranch. And there are leads that are there that they have not followed up on, clearly.
Now, Pablo Manríquez from our DC bureau also caught up with Congressmember Ted Lieu. And here's what he had to say about just the overall testimony of Bondi. Let's play it.
Congressman, what's your reaction to Pam Bondi and her testimony so far in the hearing?
Pam Bondi lied under oath. She said there was no evidence of wrongdoing in the Epstein files of Donald Trump. That's just a lie. There's multiple documents that show wrongdoing by Donald Trump. I showed her one. A witness had called in to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center and reported evidence of a crime committed by Donald Trump, and no one at the Department of Justice interviewed that witness. That's just one example of Pam Bondi lying under oath. And the fact remains that as of today, there are over 1,000 acknowledged victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Pam Bondi has not held a single man accountable. That is ludicrous, shameful, and if she had any decency, she should resign.
And what kind of accountability could Pam Bondi face for lying under oath?
First of all, she should prosecute the people that abuse and rape these women. And then, I believe she lied under oath. It's all captured on videotape. I encourage people to watch it. Look at what she said, and then look at the actual documents and Epstein files. There are direct allegations of wrongdoing by Donald Trump. So she just flat out lied under oath.
Could she face any consequences for that, for lying to Congress?
She should. Now, I don't imagine she's going to prosecute herself.
Right.
But a future Department of Justice could certainly prosecute people who lied under oath to Congress.
Here's what Congressman Frost told us. Play it.
Are you one of the congresspeople who have been to the DOJ to see the unredacted Epstein files?
Yes, I went this morning for 2 hours.
Any takeaways?
A few takeaways. Number one, there's still a lot of documents that are still redacted. When I asked the DOJ about it, they said they received it that way, which means that Cash Patel's FBI kept them redacted when they gave it to the DOJ, which is interesting. A lot of names of billionaires and elites. The second thing is there's just so much to go through. I have to go back. I actually went on Reddit and asked folks what documents they think I should look at. There was like millions of views, tens of thousands of responses. We're going to be going through that. I will be hitting the House floor to talk about the things that I've seen. And the reason I'm going to go on the House floor is because it'll be protected speech and it'll get me protected as well. But I got to go back another at least 2 or 3 times to put some puzzle pieces together and go out and speak to people about it. And like the third thing is, it was just horrible reading about a lot of the horrible things that people have gone through, that young women, that girls, that children have gone through, and how billionaires have been able to escape justice.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
And here's what Congresswoman Ballant had to say when Pam Bondi accused her of being anti-Semitic. Play this clip.
Congressman, things got pretty spicy in there.
They got a little spicy.
Can you tell us what happened?
So a couple things. One, the Attorney General did not come to answer questions. What she came to do was just hurl insults at all of us. And she went so far in accusing me of anti-Semitism when my own grandfather was killed in a concentration camp. That's how low she sunk. And everybody saw what she's about. She is about not ever admitting that she's wrong or a mistake. She's training at the knee of Donald Trump. And it was actually really embarrassing what happened in there.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Of course. You're welcome. Thank you.
And as I mentioned, we spoke with Nancy Mace. That's right. Manríquez was able to interview Mace, who said it's absolutely creepy what the Trump regime is doing by spying on the search history of members of Congress. Play this clip.
What do you make of the DOJ monitoring the search history as you guys go through the files?
It's creepy.
And then Congresswoman Mace thereafter posted the following. Yes, I will confirm DOJ is tracking the Epstein documents members of Congress search for, open, and review. I was able to navigate the system today, and I won't disclose how or the nature of how, but confirm the DOJ is tagging all documents members of Congress search, open, and review. Based on how I confirm this, there are timestamps associated with this tracking. I'm probably the last person you want in your software. Here's another image right here. You can see a Jayapal's, it says Congresswoman Jayapal search history right there. You can see right there, hat tip to Kent Nishimura for catching that photo. More from Congresswoman AOC here on a slightly different topic. She talks about Susan Collins. Let's play this clip.
Susan Collins has suggested perhaps breaking off the ICE and Border Patrol funding from a DHS deal. Is that something that you would potentially support, or would you trust Kristi Noem with?
I am less interested in what the ideation is from the Republican caucus here. I think Susan Collins is a big reason as to why we are in this mess. Susan Collins voted for every reckless budget. That is what allowed ICE to have this level of impunity. Susan Collins voted for masks on ICE agents. Susan Collins voted for this surveillance technology to ICE. Susan Collins voted to make ICE what it is today. I'm very uninterested in what Susan Collins thinks is good for the American people.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
AOC is then asked if she will be attending the State of the Union. Let's play it.
Congressman, are you going to go to the State of the Union?
Probably not, no.
More from Congresswoman Jayapal right here. Let's play this clip.
What did you make of her conduct in the hearing generally today and the way she behaved towards the survivors?
It was so disgusting. I mean, I really thought I was giving her an opportunity to turn and apologize to them, and that she could have done that, and it would have been a powerful moment for her, for them, for all of us. But she didn't do that. She showed how small and cruel she is.
And I also think it's worth noting this video has since resurfaced. This is Pam Bondi's campaign video when she was Attorney General of Florida. Here's what she had to say then. Let's play this clip.
Florida ranks 3rd nationally in calls for help for human trafficking, where young women and children are enslaved and abused. I knew we needed all hands on deck. Businesses and hospitals to spot it, our great law enforcement to stop it, and tougher penalties to punish it. We're taking on Medicaid fraud, pill mills, gangs, and more. And I'll fight to put human trafficking monsters where they belong, behind bars.
Pam Bondi, our Attorney General.
So there you have it. Let me know what you think, everybody. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 6 million. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.